everyone, it's that time of the week again and you're watching News Generation. This week, what do you know about what it means to be in contempt of court? The Alavanyo and Nkonya Peace Treaty, what does it mean? We visited a child-friendly school with UNICEF in northern Ghana and we bring you the story of a number of children who are benefiting from this concept. And the world is talking about Egypt. We'll tell you why. My name is Ifwakwa Harrison. News Generation, supported by
Cowbell Milk.
Almost even tough stains in just one step.
Daily Blue Band, Daily Grow.
So on to our first story. The Supreme Court sentenced two persons for making offensive comments about court proceedings in the election petition case. The editor of the Daily Searchlight, Ken Korankye, was sentenced to 10 days in prison, while Stephen Atubiga, a member of the NDC, was jailed for 3 days for criminal contempt. A third person, Kweku Boahen, also a member of the NDC, was cleared of any wrongdoing.
My lords, I apologize for my irresponsible statements. I should have been a little bit careful and picked and chosen my words very carefully. I humbly apologize, and I think it will not happen again. And just for the record, my lords, I started apologizing way before I even got the summon.
You know that when you come to court, you are supposed to be fair to the facts. You have no right to misreport the facts. But this is what is happening in Ghana today. When you get up in the morning and it's a court day, Monday to Thursday, before the court begins to sit, people sit on radio. And in fact, when the cameras are thrown into this hall, people begin to comment on all manner of things.
The Supreme Court ruled that the editor of the Daily Searchlight, Ken Korankye, and a member of the NDC, Stephen Atubiga, made comments on the ongoing election petition which offended the court. Some observers thought the ruling would stop people from passing derogatory comments about the work of the judiciary, a sort of reminder that freedom of speech comes with responsibility. The court had previously warned persons, especially politicians, to be careful about what they say about the ongoing election petition case. Others also say the ruling was a sign that the court wants to prevent people from expressing their views on what takes place there.
I think that everyone should be able to express their mind. It's not to prevent anyone from saying what they need or want to say. It's just we should be able to control the words we say.
They're doing that because they don't want them to tarnish their images.
The court noted Ken Korankye did not show any sign that he was sorry for what he wrote in his newspaper, rather defended his comments. Stephen Atubiga, on the other hand, pleaded with the judges for forgiveness.
Nonetheless, his utterances were very serious. They were intentionally made contemptuously. Accordingly, we find him guilty of criminal contempt and sentence him to 3 days imprisonment. We have no doubt that the said statements are made with intent by him to defy the authority of this court and the due administration of justice. Accordingly, we find him guilty of a criminal contempt of this court and sentence him to 10 days imprisonment.
What lessons could be learned from the court's ruling?
Although we have rights like the freedom of speech, we shouldn't overuse it.
First of all, although we have the freedom of speech, we shouldn't go about commenting falsely and twisting the words of people. This can tarnish the image of important people in our society.
We'll be held accountable for what we have done and will be punished for anything we did wrong.
Hope you learned a little something there. Now, moving on from the Supreme Court. It's been 90 years of fighting. Alavanyo and Nkonya, two communities in the Biakoye district of the Volta region, have been fighting for that long over a parcel of land. Is there an end in sight?
For 90 years, the people of Alavanyo and Nkonya in the Volta region have battled from time to time over a parcel of land between the two communities.
I think people fighting over property is something that shouldn't be done, because fighting over property doesn't get them anywhere. It just retards the development of the nation, kills people, human resources that can be used as people being doctors and ministers and teachers, helping other people to become better people, are being destroyed because people are being killed. And a fight has been gone or happened over 90 years. It's just too much.
It is very bad because it brings about conflict, and it also doesn't make the economy of the two towns grow.
The two communities do not agree on who owns the said parcel of land. The Alavanyos are said to have migrated from Seviape to a town near Pando and settled on lands allocated to them by the Nkonya in 1840. They created 7 settlements on farmlands originally owned by the Nkonyas. In 1923, the first conflict between the two was recorded, allegedly due to issues of encroachment on Nkonya land by 8 Alavanyo farmers. Between 1931 and 1980, there have been 7 court rulings saying the Alavanyo had encroached lands outside those originally given them by the Nkonya. There seemed to have been no agreement on enforcing the court ruling. Both communities have clashed from time to time over the same land dispute. Several curfews imposed on the two communities have failed to end the clashes. The age-long conflict was renewed after a warlord of Alavanyo was shot dead in March 2013. Government with the Volta Regional House of Chiefs mediated and got both sides to sign a peace treaty on 29 June 2013.
They have recently signed a peace treaty to stop fighting, but they haven't spoken about the land, what they are going to do with the land. Well, what I think they should do with the land, they should just either give it away or they divide it equally.
We can use peace treaties like they have done, but in such a conflict, the peace treaty is irrelevant because of the duration of the conflict. Over 90 years, it's a very long time for a conflict for just the land. And a peace treaty will just tell them that, okay, we have come together, we have come to work towards a goal of peace. And that won't... I'm not sure they can even work together after fighting for 90 years.
Some youth leaders in both Alavanyo and Nkonya downplayed the peace agreement, but surely the youth have a role to play in ensuring peace.
We are the future. The further development of the nation depends on us. When we are not there, when our parents go and there's no one, the nation remains the way it is. So I think that when they reach out to us, these are our children. This is what they are saying. We have to consider it because I'm sure there will be every parent who will have interest in what the child wants.
The future of both communities may just rest in the hands of the youth.
So that's the story on the endless conflict between Alavanyo and Nkonya. Tell us what you think about it. News Generation on Facebook. What else happened on the local scene in Ghana? Let's find out.
The World Bank says the composition of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, PURC, is a compromise on competencies required for effective execution of the tasks of the Commission. The 2013 World Bank report says Ghana is currently facing challenges in the energy sector because of the kind of people tasked to manage affairs at the Commission. It is therefore asking government to reconstitute the PURC and employ experts as commissioners with no stakeholder affiliations to manage the regulatory process. The Food and Drugs Authority and the National Disaster Management Organization in the Volta region have launched investigations into the alleged food poisoning which happened at a funeral in Pando. About 55 mourners were reported to have been hospitalized at the Margaret Melkert Hospital in Pando after allegedly eating poisoned tilapia. Parliament has constituted a 7-member ad hoc committee to draft a code of conduct to guide members of Parliament. The committee is chaired by a former majority leader, Alban Gbagbin, with MP for Sekendi, Papa Owusu Ankuma, as its vice chairman. President John Mahama has directed that government scholarships to study abroad should be granted only to students who want to pursue courses that are not offered by institutions in Ghana. The directive is one of the strategies government has adopted to achieve greater efficiency in the award of government scholarships.
Local news round. Now, government tried to amend the Communications Service Tax Bill to impose taxes on emails and incoming international calls. What's up with all of that?
I don't think it's right because I don't see why we should pay taxes for visiting the internet and stuff, because we pay for it. The networks take money from us, so I don't think we should do that.
Right, because when you are on the internet, you have to choose a bundle before using it, and then part of the bundle, I think the tax should be taken from that instead of taking the tax from us after paying the bundle again. So
I don't think it's right for the government to do that, because when you don't have enough credit on your phone and a person calls, how can the government take that credit you have left on your phone?
About 1 cedi credit, and you I don't know, you deduct something from it, it's kind of, and it's going to create problems, people going to steal from their parents, to buy enough credit, so I think it's very bad. Yeah,
I think what the government is bringing up now is not good, because how can you call someone from maybe UK and your credit will be going down, and the person receiving the call will also short his or her credit. I think it's very bad.
Your views on WhatsApp. What does it mean to be in a child-friendly school? We find out after the break.
Give kids the taste they love and the nutrition they need. Daily Blue Band, Daily Growth.
Sometimes a stained t-shirt can make you the happiest mom. Now Omo Multi-Active removes even tough stains in just one step. Best ever stain removal from Omo.
And you're welcome back to News Generation. Now let's move on with the rest of our stories. Just about half of Class 6 children in the North failed their terminal exams. This is according to a UNICEF survey in some schools in the 3 northern regions. Why? Because the educational system is simply not child-friendly. The Pont Tamale Basic School in the northern region is trying to change this.
Erica Bugri is happy to go to school. She never misses a day. But this was not the case when she just started school 3 years ago.
When I came, they was asking us question and they were asking, but they was answering the question, but I was not answering. I always feel shy if they answer and they ask me, and I got up to answer. I can't answer it. I'll be feeling afraid. I'll feel afraid of it.
So Erica says her mother allowed her to stay at home until the head teacher of the school followed up on her and convinced her to come back.
When I realized that some of my friends are going to school and when they come, they always speak English that I don't understand. So that is why I was not coming. And my master came and told my mom and took me to school, and I was coming to school.
So then after you decided to come back to school, how were you feeling those first few days when you came back again?
I was not feeling shy like the first time I came.
Really? What was different?
Because when I came, my master told me that I shouldn't feel shy. Even if they ask me and I know it in my language, I should say it.
And this is the mark of a child-friendly school.
Now, a child-friendly school is a school that all children feel free to learn, then they are protected against any harm in the school and their health.
Head teacher of the Pong Tamale Basic School, Anthony Tia, and his teachers take time to teach each student according to how slowly or quickly they learn. Corporal punishment is not used in this school. There is also guidance and counseling for students, among other measures, to give the children quality education.
There's a list here that we use to grade the child-friendly school. Then we have 5 stars in all, and we are able to get to the 4th star. So that makes us a child-friendly school, even though we have not gotten that, but we are hoping a time to come in a short period will be 5-star school.
And even though the head teacher is not where he wants to be yet with the school, the fruits of his labor is already evident in this community. 12-year-old Inusa Ziblim says he asked for a transfer from the school he was in just so he could benefit from this child-friendly school.
The reason why I attend this school is the time I was at that school, when we are playing football, this school will win first, especially quizzes. When we go to quizzes, this school will win. And there was my friend here told me that the school is very interested. When the teachers teach you and you didn't understand, they'll repeat what they have told you unless you understand what they said.
For students like Erica and Inusa, this is exactly the educational environment they need.
Justice, Cabinet Minister, members.
Now, this year, UNICEF Ghana is increasing the number of districts it supports in northern Ghana from 3 to 8. This means more children will now have access to quality education. You may soon find a mobile library in your community, courtesy of Alpha Beta Education Center, which organized a fun fair to raise funds for a van library project. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Also during the week, we had fun at a carnival in Accra.
This is Efua Sutherland Park, the venue for the Alpha Beta Education Center Fun Fair. Alpha Beta organized a fundraiser as part of its 25th anniversary to raise funds for a mobile library.
The activities include a trampoline, bouncy castle, Ferris wheel, and water activities. I've gone on the trampoline and the bouncy castle, and I'm yet to go on the Ferris wheel.
It's like a normal fun fair. I mean, we've got lots and lots of people come from different parts of Accra. It's a blast also now, they're having fun.
The operations manager of Alpha Beta, Naomi Ejapon, says the whole idea was to have fun to support a worthy cause.
This is part of our lineup of programs. So what we decided to do was to come out and have a fun day in the park with our students, our parents, our teachers, and all well-wishers. But also it's for a good cause. We have a charity at the school. This year we're raising money for a mobile library. That's just a van that will go around to different disadvantaged communities and give the children access to books and computers and other educational games, etc. So this is a very good cause that we've been fundraising for throughout our anniversary period, and this is just one of the events that we're using as a fundraiser.
And the Ghana Center for Carnival Arts, in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, organized Ghana's first national carnival in Accra. The aim was to highlight Ghana's cultural identity and tourism potentials.
The carnival is going to be every year, so it's an annual event. We had our maiden edition last year when we had the Taster Day in September, and this year we've seen the full carnival today. Next year we're aspiring. The next year is going to be bigger, and better, more participation. We're encouraging everybody to join, all the 10 regions, the local groups, the Caribbean groups, everybody to join it, because it's a day that, we all can come together and celebrate culture.
Didn't that just look so much fun? Well, it's always exciting in the world of sports. Let's check out the stories.
An Accra High Court has for the second time given the Ghana Football Association, GFA, up to July 14 to conduct fresh elections in the Eastern region and report back to it on July 15. The court also charged the GFA for contempt and accordingly slapped a 40,000 Ghana fine on it for failing to comply with an earlier order given by a Cocoa Affairs High Court. The Black Satellites are in Istanbul, Turkey, for their quarter-final clash against Chile. The Satellites are confident to make an impact after a bad start to the competition where they lost their opening 2 games against the French and the Spaniards at Galatasaray's Telecom Arena. The Cameroon Football Federation says it does not understand why the country has been banned from all football activity by FIFA. On Thursday, FIFA suspended Cameroon on account of government interference in the Football Federation's elections in June. Manchester United's new manager, David Moyes, has started his reign by insisting unsettled striker Wayne Rooney will not be sold. On Friday, Moyes made his first public appearance since succeeding Sir Alex Ferguson at Old Trafford, and Rooney's future was at the top of the agenda.
Sports round. When we come back, what the world is talking about.
Cowbell milk is packed with essential vitamins and minerals for nourishment. Look. Build your body and brains.
And we're back. Pharaohs, pyramids, the River Nile, just a few things usually associated with which country? Yes, you guessed it, Egypt. But Egypt now paints a picture of mass demonstrations. What's with all the demonstrations? Well, the world is talking about Egypt.
Egypt is known for many different things.
They are rich culture and then they are tourist attractions. Ancient days and the pharaohs they had, and also slightly the Bible.
River Nile, Pharaoh, in the Bible, and Moses.
The minerals they extract, such as oil, and the pyramids and the tombs of the pharaohs, like Ramses.
The pyramids, the Sphinx, and also the story of Moses and the story of Joseph.
But for the last 2 years, Egypt has been known for something else.
Protesters are going on the streets and going to Tahrir Square, protesting that they want President Morsi, who they elected themselves 1 year ago, to step down for presidency, whilst the 4 years have not even yet elapsed.
They are protesting a lot, and it's really appalling because after 90 years of military, after over 60 years of military, you finally have democracy. And the democracy hasn't even changed what happened before.
On June 30, 2012, Egypt had its first democratically elected head of state, Mohamed Morsi, in the entire history of the country. President Mohamed Morsi came to power after 30 years of military rule by Hosni Mubarak. He was elected on the ticket of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood was banned from contesting elections in Egypt due to its advocacy of Sharia law and its involvement in assassination of Egyptian officials and colonial rulers. Egypt, aside its majority Muslim population, also have other religions like Christianity and Judaism. The protesters accused Mohamed Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood of trying to make the country an Islamic state. Taking over a nation with widespread corruption and poor living conditions, President Morsi at his inauguration promised better times. The Egyptian opposition has organized many demonstrations across the country, all in an attempt to force the president out of power. Not satisfied by the response, millions of opposition members on June 30 gathered at the Tahrir Square, the symbol of the 2011 revolution that ousted former leader Hosni Mubarak, calling on the government to resign. Hours into the protest, the military issued a warning it would intervene if the government and the opposition failed to listen to the will of the people, a situation very common in Egypt.
They could have done something different, but the military is the military. What they want is what they want. They are usually strict, so I'm not surprised that this is coming from them. But I also think they should have really intervened, because already the people really don't want them to come into power.
Mohamed Morsi was overthrown by the military, and now the Chief Justice, Adli Mansour, has been sworn in to act as interim president.
So it has been very fluid on the international scene this week, with the ousting of President Morsi in Egypt to children in Brazil correcting celebrities' grammar. Nelson Mandela continues to fight for life in a Pretoria hospital. A court document released earlier this week stated Mandela's family considered taking him off life support before his condition slightly improved. Meanwhile, several of Mandela's family members took his eldest grandson, Mandla, to court to dig up 3 of the former president's children for reburial in the family graveyard in Kunu, where Mr. Mandela wants to be laid to rest. Mandela allegedly moved the remains in 2011 without the family's consent. Computer mouse inventor Doug Engelbart has died at the age of 88. Engelbart developed the tool in the 1960s as a wooden shell covering 2 metal wheels. An English school in Brazil has had their students correcting celebrity tweets. According to a video about the project, the teachers at the school wanted to make sure the children knew their idols were not right when it came to spelling and grammar. The children would tweet back at the celebrities, explaining politely what was wrong in their tweets. All the students were between 8 and 13 years old, and they called themselves the Celeb Grammar Corps. So that's all we have time for this week on News Generation. Remember, you can catch us online on Facebook and also our website. It's www.newsgenerationgh.com. See you next week. Have a great one. News Generation, supported by
Cowbell Milk.
Omo is even tough stains in just one step.
Daily Blue Band, Daily Grow.